Behind me is another Elite build from HM, but this one is a little bit different. It actually started off live as a Gen 2 Raptor. The original plan from the owner was to make this a UAV, HM 94 kit with leaves in the back. But eventually it evolved into a fully linked build. Being a mini Elite, this one does look a little bit different, right? The 94 kit has about a similar stance as the 95 and 96 kit. Typically the Elites see the 96 kit with 12-inch stroke shocks. This has 10-inch stroke and it still performs just as good. Obviously the rear is way more capable. The rear is basically the Elite kit. Fully linked arms, 4.0's back there. That thing is wild. You can kind of see where this one gets its name, right? It's a little mini Elite. It's not quite as big. It still has the same looks, has the same dimensions. It doesn't have the front clamshell. But this is what the owner wanted. This truck is headed to Silver Lake in Michigan. This truck's gonna spend a lot of time on the sand and in the dunes, and I'm sure the owner got exactly what he wanted. Let's go ahead and do a quick deep dive on this thing and show you guys what this truck's all about. So that right there is 94 inches wide, tie rod all the way end to end, dual 10-inch shocks, 2.5 backed up by, I think it's a 3.5 or a 4. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's a 2.5 backed up by a 3.5-inch bypass. It is a four-wheel drive truck. It does have HM's custom bumper setup up front. Now, as you'll notice, the bump stops in the bottom, because again, this started as a UAV. This was meant to be a leaf truck. It was not meant to be caged. Now in the back, it's a little bit more familiar. It's the full Elite back half. So you got the big old trailing arms with the dual shocks, full cage. In the back, he's got space for his jack. Happens to have a Badlands jack. Single spare, because again, this is staying in Silver Lakes. And then it's got a full-on trunk right above the fuel cell. It's pretty cool because it's actuated. Now it is a little slow, so we're gonna have to wait for it. As we're waiting for it to go up, you know, everybody has a different application when it comes to these setups. So this was customized for the owner. Currently, there's nothing in there because again, where this truck is gonna be, where there's a Baja build, there'd be all kinds of spaces for spare shafts, spare gear, tools, all that stuff. This customer, he's just going to Silver Lake. He just wanted a place to store all his chairs while they're out there so they can have some fun. Right now it's on actuators controlled by this little remote. This can be switched out for gas shocks too as well. It'll probably go up a little bit quicker. But honestly, if you're having an issue, it doesn't hurt to take a break to open and close this. Now, one of the areas where this truck really shines is in the interior. This thing is beautiful. I think this is ostrich leather, and it just gives it that extra look that a lot of people like. Cage, of course, was done by HM, so this is their full cage. Really well integrated into the pillars and all that stuff. Really well done cage, one of my favorite designs actually. The interior was done by Todd at Export Auto Upholstery. If you don't know who Todd is, man, he's making some of the best pre-runner interiors on the market. That headliner, headliner is beautiful. The way he integrated the leather with the suede, the way it integrates with the tubing, all the tubing in the visible areas is wrapped, including in the A-pillar, which is really cool, the way they integrated this back in here. It's got handles to get in there a little bit easier. My fat ass is actually able to get in there no problem. And it's really good. Look, he does a really good job, and in my opinion, one of the best in the industry. Now, let's go ahead and talk to Kevin about this truck. This build was pretty unique, right? I mean, this started off as a UAV.
It did a full leaf sprung truck. We had this completely finished, ready to almost go, and they changed and went 4-link and caged, and so this is kind of what we ended up with.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty cool, man. I mean, it's still an impressive setup.
It's bitchin'.
Now, what's the owner's name? Do you know his Instagram handle?
Stephen Peacock.
Stephen Peacock?
I don't know his Instagram. I have it, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, well, he'll give it to me later. We'll put it down here. But this is going to be a cool build. You guys are going to be in Silver Lake. Now, you told me this is going to a 16-year-old, right?
Part of the family, yeah. But yeah, it's going to be for her too. Be able to use.
It's a family truck, but it's going to be for hers.
Yep,
right?
exactly.
And I mean, it's a cool build. So this one's a little bit different, right? You said it's a mini Elite because it's based on a Raptor.
Yeah,
right?
It's a Raptor build. Basically, it's our 94 kit, so it's not our full like Recon or Elite front end. It's a little more limited on travel. So, you know, we're at 14.5 to 15 inches, somewhere right around there, which we really haven't done a link truck like that. You know, it's almost always, you know, we're doing 17, 18, 19 inches of travel. So this was kind of unique, seeing what it could actually do. And honestly, it was very impressive.
Right, especially once you started dialing it in.
Yeah, we were kind of blown away about what it could actually take. It was super fast.
I mean, I think it's a testament to your design, man. It's
no,
really cool.
it is. I mean, it's all very similar.
Geometry.
Suspension, geometry, you know, it's just width, basically. So when you're getting a different kit from us, say, you know, from the 94 to the 95 to the 96, it's really just the back of the arms we're changing. The geometry, all the steering, all that stays the same. We're not changing any of that.
So can we talk a little bit about the interior too?
Yeah.
Todd at Expert Upholstery did it, and he did a beautiful job. I mean, like one of his best setups in here.
It's super good, super good. I mean, I was really impressed by it, really impressed.
Now, is that ostrich leather in there?
It is, yeah.
That's crazy,
on
man.
the seats and on the headliner. And center console too, actually has it on there.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah,
it's really good. And then they did a custom little switch pros, or what is that in the middle?
That's actually Motec inside there that we had. Triumph Performance Ian did all the wiring for us and did that with the PDM and all that. So, and
it's got a full intercom inside too, so the whole family can talk to each other as they're bombing down the desert. So what I think this highlights is shops like you do really well with customization, right? So if your customer has a unique setup, unique build, you know, you guys can accommodate that, right?
Well, that's what we really are. I mean, it's
a boutique shop, right?
We're a boutique shop. I mean, I started out as a race shop. You know, we built some race cars in the past, but that's a very small niche market. We always had done F-150s and Rangers, and so when we got into doing the Raptors, you know, we were already a custom shop. We just kind of put it into production is what it ended up being. Yeah. So we're trying to get more and more into production parts, but it's hard for us because it's like our background is customization. So, I mean, it's tough to get into that where we just want a cookie cutter part, right? Well, that's always the hard part about it.
And I think something that I've learned throughout, you know, running trucks here in SoCal is it's never one size fits all. Everybody has different use cases. Everybody runs different gear. People run different trails. And it's never one size fits all to everything, whether it's tuning, whether it's your setup. Everything is customizable. I mean, including my truck, I have a very customized bed, right?
The Marty McFly.
Exactly. Yeah. This was tailor-made for this customer's use case, and this is one of the reasons why I love your shop. Right?
Oh, thank you.
I have a short list of shops that I really support and that I use personally because you guys are flexible. You guys understand that customers have different use cases, and that's something that this build highlights, right? It doesn't always have to be crazy elite. Right?
No, it doesn't. No, and I mean it's and this isn't as much as the elite was. You know what I mean? It was cheaper than an elite because we didn't have to do some of the work that we normally do.
Not counting the truck and the fact that you did it twice, right? How much is this to recreate?
This was about $185,000 altogether.
So just a little bit over a Raptor R.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not too bad. And for those waiting, we do have a recon video coming, and that thing costs as much as a Raptor R with tax, licensing, and markups. And you guys are going to be blown away by that thing, which that's coming in the next video with HM trucks. You guys are going to love that thing. We got a lot of previews of it. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see them there. If you go to HM's Instagram, he's got a lot of stuff being posted on there. Those trucks are going to be amazing, and I think anybody that bought an R is going to be jealous.
Yeah, we're kind of keeping under wraps right now. You know, we're trying to slow play it, I guess, to bring it out. But
you got 3 in production, right?
We got 3 in production, 4 sold total. So we're just waiting on parts. Hubs have been the big pushback. We're designing a whole new race hub for these that's going to use the tone ring that will have basically all the ABS still works, no sensors going off, none of the lights in the dash. We want to build, but we want a wider bearing than the standard what's available. I don't want to say their name, but so what's available from certain companies is not a race oriented. It's more of a pre-runner hub. We want something that is going to complement our builds, you know, and to be able to go with a longer distance, right? It's more load bearing, a better bearing setup basically all the way around with bigger brakes. That's the other thing.
These builds are perfect for guys like me. Like, I love these cage trucks, but I don't think I could live with a cage truck. I'm too old for all that noise.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I've been driving this daily for about 3 weeks now. You know, just putting time and you know, on the truck itself and to dial in any kind of little gremlins that come up on a new build. I mean, you're always going to have something. So it's interesting. I mean, it's hooligan fun, put it that way. You know what I mean? You feel like you're doing something illegal, you know, because it's so raw, you know, and the noise is something, you know,
it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. I mean, but as a toy, and something that you're going to use with predominantly headsets and things like that, it's not that bad.
Well, and I think that's the other thing that I want to highlight here, right? Like, I've seen other shops do these custom builds, but not all of them take them out, right? They just kind of do these custom builds. They tend to have the same parts. They redo them over and over again, and they don't really go out and tune them, test them, and fine tune them. I saw you go through that with this truck, right? Fine tune it. You're looking for all the little issues. You're daily in it for a little bit to make sure
Yeah.
you find all the issues, right? You're taking it out, you're abusing it to make sure that it breaks in your hands and not the customer's hands.
Correct.
Right? I mean, we were testing this out in 110-degree weather.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Testing it to the max, trying to find
was
out
hot.
where it's going to get hot, where it's going to soak and all that stuff, right? And I mean, you guys are finding the gremlins, fixing them so that by
Yeah.
the time it's in the customer's hand, it's fixed. So again, that's one of the reasons why I like HM. I like Kevin's work. He makes sure that when you get a product, it is top notch. And for those of you guys that got a Raptor R, wait till you see the next video. You're gonna want that instead of your R, especially for the same money. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Kevin, again for giving us access to this beautiful truck.
No problem. My pleasure.
And we got more news on my truck coming soon on HM, guys. Stay tuned.
Very
for that.
soon.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.